For as long as I've been on the internet, I can recall several YouTubers who have come and gone and left a mark on the platform, whether it be good or bad. Mr. Anime, Elliot Roger, and several others have done insane things that have forever put them in infamy on the internet. But one person I hear little to no coverage on is a channel that was known as Indigo Mystic. Indigo Mystic was a YouTube channel that is now deleted. But when it was up, it was run by a woman named Jessica Warsham. Jessica seemed like an every woman. She was a mother of 2 daughters living peacefully in the town of Houston, Georgia. From what little we know of Jessica's early years, it seems she viewed herself as quote-unquote different from other people, in the sense that she thought she had psychic powers. You finished laughing? Alright. Soon enough, Jessica opened the channel Indigo Mystic back in April 2013, so that she could make vlogs and talk about what it was like being her and having powers, and as a way to connect with equally insane people. From the start, she seemed nice enough. She had a positive spirit, a bright smile, and a crazy yet charming personality. But behind the camera, life was rough for her. I mentioned earlier that she was a single mother of 2, but on top of that, she was also unemployed at the time. So, as you can assume, the living situation was shit. She just couldn't seem to find a permanent place to live. Although 5 years later, by some miracle, some friends and family of hers offered her to stay at their place for free. They were allowed to stay in the home before it would be eventually sold off. And that was her home for 3 whole years until finally the property was sold off. Rather than thank the owners for letting her lounge in the home for free, pack her shit, cut her losses, and get out of there, Jessica retaliated and became angry at the homeowners for wanting to make her leave. She wouldn't budge, and even took to court to have it her way. And obviously her snotty ass lost the case and she was booted from the house. But unbeknownst to those around her, she had snapped. She thought everything and everyone was against her, specifically blaming the judges that ruled against her, or just judge, I mean. Jessica then completely wiped all of her positive videos off of the Indigo Mystic channel and used it as a platform to vent her frustrations to everyone who had wronged her. Other than the fact that her face was extremely punchable and her videos were beyond cringe, Jessica and her kids had to jump from house to house, unable to find a permanent home again. Jessica's mental health was off the charts, and every time she managed to find a place to live, she would also always manage to get into a fight with the homeowners, getting her kicked out every time. I feel the most bad for Jessica's kids, as they were in a constant state of moving and being in the middle of Jessica's idiotic outbursts. Speaking of her kids, they have a bigger role in the story. Every time Jessica got into an argument with a homeowner, she had actually trained her kids to record the ordeals on and post them to the channel. And in almost every video, you can hear the poor kids sniffling and crying as Jessica screamed like a psycho, exclaiming that they were scared. Understandably so. Being kicked out of every home they lived in must have been mentally exhausting. Then, suddenly, the girl's biological father, named Sean, wanted to save his kids from this hell and wanted custody, as Jessica obviously did not deserve the kids. One of the most ridiculous things Jessica had ever said was that she claimed to have put hexes on the judges who had kicked her out of the home she previously lived in, and even accused them of telepathically communicating with her and even sacrificing kids. Now, as much as I'd like to pile drive her into the ground, we should take into account that she was obviously not mentally well by this point, far from it actually. But on the day of September 14th, 2021, Jessica had to go to court to find out who was going to get the kids. It was her versus Sean, and they both wanted the kids real bad. Now, Jessica did not take kindly to this, and of course made more videos discussing her frustrations on the matter. She claimed that if a video of hers did not pop up in the next few days, it would be because she had gotten arrested from doing something bad. But before she even stepped foot into the court that day, her kids filmed another video of her getting into a scrap outside said court. So the hearing went on without her, and thankfully Jessica lost, but only for a bit. The deal was if Jessica found a permanent home and got better in the brain, she could have her kids back. But Jessica would not have it. Soon enough, Jessica got her kids, and they all went on the run from authorities, showing just how dedicated she was to making sure her kids continued to suffer. Rather than flee the country or hide out, Jessica decided to make the absolute big brain move to post more videos on her channel and seemingly taunt the people after her, essentially threatening them. But now she had another target, Sean. He was the man wanting to take the kids away after all. As if Jessica could not become more of a scumbag than she already was, she made the kids get on the phone with their father and manipulated them to spew hateful words and remarks at them. She clearly wanted to make it seem as though the kids also didn't want anything to do with him either, making them say worse and worse things and blaming Sean for breaking the family. And it was around this time that the world met Betty. Who is Betty, you may ask? Well, Betty was Jessica's best friend. To be exact, her gun. As cringy as it is to name your gun, it was worse that Jessica was actually serious. She pretty much threatened everyone with a gun. Betty. Finally, on November 23rd, 2021, things would reach full circle. In the video titled "People Are Psycho," we can hear Jessica yet again in a fight with some homeowners. We can hear them screaming at her to leave the home, as Jessica also screamed at her daughter Maya to record the homeowners. During the fight, an old man had been pushed to the ground and was hurt. One of the younger people in the home made the smart decision to phone the cops. Among the screaming, crying, and arguing, Jessica waited at the front door for the police to arrive, Betty in hand. As the camera continued rolling, you could hear Jessica yelling at the cops to shoot her, to which this happens. Jessica opened fire on the police officers, and her daughters ran away from the scene. Jessica claimed the life of Deputy Lena Marshall, who died on the 18th anniversary of the death of her son. As for Jessica, she had been hit by gunfire several times, to which she collapsed and died. As Jessica bled on the floor, lifeless, the video was posted by her children. The video in question, titled, "My Mom is Dead, I Think." Our story ends with all the videos from the Indigo Mystic channel being erased, followed by the entire channel. Jessica's story ends here. Now, it seems the internet has moved on from the story, but to me, this is the craziest story I have ever seen play out on YouTube.